We'll see in a minute. All right, people, we are live now. Welcome to CNC Sci-Fi blog. That is tentatively the name. Um, my name is Cliff, one of your hosts for this, or also known as Draconis, depending on where you know me from, either on Twitch or YouTube. And to my right on the stream is my daughter, who can introduce herself. She's there.
Christina. I have multiple gamer names and whatever. I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt. Yeah.
No, I'm wearing my team shirt. So, and then to her right is my brother, and from another mother, my big dog, Mr. Nate. Big
What up,
Nate.
bro? And listen, I'm not the biggest gamer in the world, but I am a Star Wars nerd. I wear it with pride. And the only reason why I'm not outside right now was because I thought, well, I won't smoke a cigar this early in the day. That's the only reason.
Early in the day, sir. It is. What is it? 7 p.m. there? How is it early in the day?
But I like to savor it later on in the evening, talk on the phone, do the thing. You know?
7 p.m.
Yes, sir. So I said that's what I came back in the house.
Okay. So we are here to discuss The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 5. I believe it's chapter, 13?
13.
Yes, chapter 13, Name the Jedi. So before we get too deep into it, I'm going to let y'all know there is going to be spoilers in this. If you don't want to hear spoilers, don't tune in. Watch it later. Watch us later. This is going to be up all the time. And then, so just to give a little summation before we go deep diving, the story so far is that our Mando and the child, I'm still calling him the child, although we do get a name this time. We'll go deep into that one. He has finally reached a planet where Boca told him to go to find the Jedi. So it opens up with Ahsoka, who is our favorite Jedi from Clone Wars and Rebels, basically tearing house.
She kicking booty. And I enjoyed every moment of it. I had to stop it for a second, like, did she just snap like that? Let me rewind that.
Yes, she did. So she was kicking butt, taking names, and so she went out, did her thing, and then Mando arrives on the planet. She gives an ultimatum of 1 day for the magistrate to give up her power, give up her location. Not give up her power, just give up her location and free the people.
Remember, you got to break it down. That he landed, what it was, it broke to the planet, and she is just kicking this. I mean, they've got some warriors out there, some soldiers.
Yeah, but remember, this is just a summation. We ain't going there deep yet.
All right,
this is a summary. This is just a summary. So, long story short, he gets commissioned by the magistrate to go find her. He ends up going to find her. Her and the child communicate, and she finds out the baby's name, which is, I think, is Grogu. Grogu. Which is kind of similar to Goku, but I'm not going to go there. I'll leave that for later. So, they do that, and then he decides to help her, which we all knew he was going to do that regardless. He wasn't going to, keep helping someone that's going to, basically treating people bad. That's not in his nature. Even if it is a contract, he usually seems to have a moral code.
But he never agreed to anything, but go ahead.
Yeah. So long story short, they come in, they kick even more ass at the base and basically take back the town. And in the end, he's sent off on another quest. And this kind of reminds me, and CJ being a gamer, she knows this, of RPG games where you do one task and you end up getting another task. You do another task, you end up getting another task. And eventually you just get tired. When am I going to get to my final journey? Because good Lord, could you give me any more tasks? Because I'm tired. I'm tired. But that's the big summation. So now we're going deep into spoilers. So y'all going to need to just, if you haven't seen this episode, you want to wait for it, turn this stream off right now. Because we are going into spoilerland territory. And I'm going to let Mr. Banks, because he was hyped. Big Nate was hyped for Ahsoka. And I was hyped for Ahsoka. And yes, she did kick much booty. But to me, I didn't really like a lot of it. I liked the what she did, but to me, she wasn't that big of a not she was kind of a letdown to me live action, and maybe that's because I'm used to her Rebels version, which was a little bit more different. But I'll let Big Nate take it all away.
I don't know what he's talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something. I was happy. I was a happy camper. When she just started kicking butt right out the door, I said, now that's the way you start. That's the way you do business, cutting heads off right out the door. That's what I'm talking about. And then, and I love when she was like, you got one day. She was like, this is my house. You got one day, or that's it, and I'm taking care of business. I like the way she started. I like the way she came in. First off, kudos to the Mandalorian for bringing her in looking so incredibly like. I didn't think, I was like, they picked the right actress with Rosario Dawson. But that makeup was superb. It was spot on. I think
makeup is amazing.
It was right. It was right. I was happy on how she came in. And from there, I'm gonna be honest with you. Well, I don't know how far you want me to go, so I'm trying to be quick.
No. You can go. I'm gonna share a little window then. Go ahead, keep going.
And then, I tell you, and I love how when the magistrate gave him, and he never agreed to actually. She said, "Kill this Jedi." He never agreed to it. He was like, "Where can I find it?" And that's what he needed anyway.
So to give people an idea, this is how she looked in Clone Wars and Rebels. Mm-hmm. She didn't start off looking like this. She was a little bit younger when she first came in on the original Clone Wars movie. And this is how she looks now with Rosario Dawson playing her. I do think the makeup was great. And I think she's doing the best thing. But to me, in the original Rebels, she seemed so much younger. And even at the end of Clone Wars, she was kind of almost a teenager, maybe going into her 20s as far as her race is concerned.
I would have thought she was in her 20s by the time we got to the Clone Wars.
By the end of the Clone Wars or in the middle of the Clone Wars? By
the end of the Clone Wars, she was going into her 20s. That's the way.
Right. So to me, by the end of the Empire, so then I guess she would kind of look this age, I guess, by the end of, Return of the Jedi, because this is 5 years after Return of the Jedi. And
that's what I was about to say. And 5 years after the Return of the Jedi would put her, 30? Something like that?
Yes. No, the Empire reigned for 20 years, I think it was. I would have to look it 40. Up. Yeah. So she would, but go ahead.
Appropriate to me.
Mm-hmm.
And
they did add some jewels that I didn't think was, when you look here, they're not there, but I guess that was just, it's going to change. But she did have her same outfit on, and I'm beginning to wonder if the Jedi just have the same clothes everywhere, and they just change out of them back into them. Like they have multiple sets, kind of like The Simpsons, where, you got a closet full of the same clothes. And I'm beginning to wonder if that's what they're doing, because, you could do for a clothes change. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, that would make sense because they're Jedi and they're not supposed to get attached to anything.
Yeah, like Buddhist monks,
clothes. Correct. So, yeah.
Well, maybe I'm just used to Rey, where every episode, every movie she changed, and so did Luke. He didn't have the same clothes on for the same, for every thing. He did kind of change, but they are kind of newer Jedi as opposed to the old-fashioned Buddhist monk types.
Yoda wore the same stuff.
Oh,
Yoda never changed clothes.
Yes, this is true. I'm gonna continue, Mr. Banks. I'm sorry, Big Nate.
All right. Well, I tell you, I liked her coming in, and I just going into the episode, I didn't expect her to train the kid, the child, because I kept saying to myself, there's way too much of a father-son relationship here, and she is not. I didn't think of it and it was, to me, it was explained beautifully. I didn't think it would be because he had attachment in that respect, the Darth Vader, attachment. I just thought she wasn't going to break up the father-son relationship. and she was going to see that father-son relationship and not want to start something in that respect.
But she's also in a way clinging to the old ways, which in hindsight, those old ways led to the fall of the Jedi.
Well, but you got to remember, you can't have like Christina said, you can't have attachment. And she's looking at Anakin, who had, of course, attachment to his wife, so in love with his wife, would do anything to not have the dreams he was having turn into reality. And he literally made the most horrible decision of his life by turning against the Jedi in order to save his wife and end up killing his wife. But I digress.
But Anakin did some silly things. As far as attachment goes, he came in lame duck. Well, not lame duck, but he came in hampered. So you already had the whole Jedi Council saying, oh, he should not be trained. But then you had the head of Jedi Council, and I'm not talking about Yoda, but his right hand, Mace, basically saying, oh, no, you think he's the chosen one, but he shouldn't be trained. Let's think about that for a second. What does that do to a person? When somebody tells you shouldn't be trained, and then they stick you with somebody that just became a Jedi Knight to be your master, what hindrance does that put on you? What if in your job, the first day on the job, you get the first person that was just promoted and he only got promoted because somebody else got killed?
Well, I'm going to say it like this. My first day on the job, they didn't even give me nobody to work with. They handed me a statute book and said, good luck. So
what does that do? What did that do for you?
Baptism by fire was beautiful. The point I'm saying
as a Jedi, how does that help?
I'm telling you, baptism by fire makes the strongest man.
As an 8-year-old?
Yeah. So again, I didn't think that hampered him at all. I think that made him stronger. What hampered him was his attachment
to Padme, his attachment, and it wasn't even attachments, but he was manipulated by Palpatine. The whole galaxy was.
But he was manipulated by Palpatine because he was in love with Padme. And this young baby is head over. He loved with his daddy. I mean, I can't throw stones. He's in love with his dad. And then aka Mando is really doing a good job, and he has a strong attachment to Mando. And the reality of it is, I liked that reference to, and even the strongest and best trained Jedi. I was like, she's talking about Anakin, and that's hot. I love that undertone. That was nice. I didn't like the end, but we'll get there. But I like that reference.
But to me, yes, that was a good reference. But you sit back. Who took down the Emperor? Who brought his father back to life? It was somebody that had attachments. Somebody that was too old, technically, in the old ways to be trained to be a Jedi. Someone the Jedi would have never trained if they happened to find him at the age that they found him, that Ben found him. Ben watched over him, yes, for 18 years, but he did not seriously start Luke's training until Luke was 19, 20, which was way beyond the years that anybody at Coruscant would have trained at the old Jedi Temple.
Well, but you got to look at why. First off, yes, Luke would not have been trained because he's been way too old. But first off, they didn't know about, Ahsoka Tano, and there's no other Jedis to choose from. This is what they had left. And secondly, they were searching the galaxy far and wide. You couldn't start, people force sensitive can feel other force sensitive people. You were not going to start training him as they're searching the galaxy for you at 6. You're not going to do that. You're going to let some time pass. And that's what they did. And that was smart because they would have found him.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, they quite possibly they could have, but they didn't find Rey. They did find Ben. They did find Ben when he started training pretty early. But yeah. But Christina, what do you think as far as the whole I'm not going to train him and he's got too much attachment and all that?
I feel like because of who her master was, like it makes sense. She's like, I am not going through none of this again. Not doing it. But also like every situation is different, like not everyone is going to react the way Anakin did. Like in all honesty, Anakin was very, very selfish because he wanted to get more powerful to save first his mother's life and then Padme's life, instead of getting more powerful to help bring like balance to the galaxy, which is like what he's supposed to be doing.
Well, he didn't want to let power go. He was all about power, and that could have been from Palpatine grooming him since the age of 8. They should have never let him have that close relationship with Palpatine.
With the Emperor.
For what? Yeah. He should have never had that relationship with that senator. For what? He didn't see Padme for how many years, Big Nate? What was it, about 10? And you letting the senator, I'm sorry, not senator, he was the, what was his role after he got promoted? He was the person in charge of everything. I can't remember what it was exactly called, but
Chancellor?
The Chancellor. So he was the Chancellor, Chancellor Palpatine. Why would you let the Chancellor keep talking to a Jedi in training or Padawan?
Can I share something with y'all?
What?
Maybe this is the old, doing this job I've been doing for 20 years or whatever, being a lawyer. But that seemed almost incestuous. I was like, why is he talking to a 7-year-old? This is weird. And you old as dirt. Why are you hanging out and rubbing him on the shoulder? What is going on here?
We'll watch your career with great interest.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I'm going to go away now. I will be leaving. I'm going to go over there.
I was like, my creep alert went, whoa.
But I digress. Back to this. But as you were saying,
like
Christina.
It makes sense. It doesn't make sense that like she was like, I don't want to go through this again. Because like I literally watched my master go to the dark side because of his attachment. Right. But I also think that like it's worth it to train him because there are so few Jedi left, and he's like a strong Force user. So it's
now,
like,
Christina, did you watch any of the Ahsoka episodes I sent you, or did you get a chance to, or you haven't?
No.
Okay. No. Here's one thing, and maybe Big Nate, you forgot about this. She did not find out that Darth Vader was Anakin until the 2nd season of Rebels, which means about 20 years in, she had no idea Anakin had turned and done all this stuff. She had no idea.
What did she think he was?
She didn't know. As far as a lot of people knew he was dead because all it was Vader. They never told.
No, she thought he was dead, and then literally, what was she flying next to him?
She was flying, and Kanan was next to her, and they were trying to block him from attacking them. And they lipped out, and she figured out it was Anakin, and Anakin was like, "Oh, hey!"
No, didn't he reach out through the Force?
No. She was trying to stop him because he was attacking their ship with the rebels on it. And her and Kanan were both like, "Oh, we're going to stop this Sith," and then they were like, "Oh, wait a minute," and she was like, "Oh, wait a minute, I know what that is. I know who this is."
Yeah, but the point is that that even more, to me, strengthens the point of she didn't know who he was or what it was, who that was. And then now she realizes her master, who was a fully trained Jedi Knight, fell to the dark side because of attachment. I'm not doing this. This baby's attached to you. And, if you remember when she was reading his mind, when they first came and she's smiling, she's probably seeing how well Dan is taking care of or handling this baby. And so, she can, read his mind, read his thoughts, and force sense the fact that this baby has a lot of love for his daddy. And so why would you I was just thinking, why would you break that up? I don't see why would you break that up. But I didn't like her thing where she said, and this irritated me. I was waiting for Mando to say something. She was like, just let it be and let his abilities, die, or however she said it.
And that's what leads to a Sith as well. That also leads to a dark side user.
Well, also, if in the previous episode, they know they were trying to get his blood because of his such high midichlorian count. So you not wanting to train him is not going to change the fact that
the Empire chasing him.
They are chasing him, and if they catch him, they're going to drain him,
kill him eventually.
Right, and use them against everybody in the universe.
So I'm looking like that's short-sighted.
Well, also short-sighted is just sending Mando off on another damn mission and you don't go with him. Here, go to this site
Yeah,
and let the kid decide what he's going to do.
I did not like that ending.
but also let me go with you.
Yes, exactly. She went with the rebels when they did some stuff, so why not go with Jen? Especially when you have a kid of Yoda's bloodline, not bloodline, but Yoda's species, which you know have strong attachment to the Force. Why have him go off? And he trained in the Jedi Temple for 50 years, we found out.
Yes, and so
Before he probably for 10, 20 years, and then he disappeared while the Empire was around. Somebody hit him, so eventually we're going to find out who took him and hid him away, I imagine.
But my biggest problem is you not training him is not changing the fact the Empire is still not hunting him. You not going with him is not, is not making sure that he doesn't fall. You just were told the Empire is hunting him. So why wouldn't you want to try to ensure he does not fall back into enemy hands? That ending, I was just like, I'm trying not to get mad, but I'm getting mad.
But I feel like it goes with like what Jedi do, at least like the later ones, because that's exactly what freaking Luke did in the whole third trilogy. He's like, I'm gonna stick my head in the sand and pretend it's not happening, and hide out on an island and pretend that most of this isn't my fault.
Luke disconnected himself from the Force so that nobody could find him, so that he, okay, I'm gonna hurt Sneaky real quick, but if he didn't understand, he wanted to disconnect from the Force because he felt he failed his nephew. I mean,
yeah.
And I still don't believe he went in there and ignited his saber. That wasn't anything of Luke. I really still don't believe that was Luke doing that. I think that was just something they put in, that the Emperor put in both their minds. But regardless, I mean, he felt he failed as a teacher. He wasn't ready to be a teacher, obviously, but neither was Ben. So he did eventually come around and tried to help, but Rey was already so advanced. I don't even know how much help Rey really needed, because she learned most of her stuff from the books, from the sacred texts, and from Leia anyway. Well, what's the sacred text?
Well, but like I said, let's talk about this. One thing I learned today, I actually learned something pretty damn good. I didn't know, because if you remember, whether it was, the original trilogy or the prequels that everybody chokes on or whatever, a lightsaber could cut through almost any substance. I didn't know Beskar. I didn't know.
Have you Clone Wars, the during some of the fights, the dark saber, held up against that stuff. We did see Ahsoka and them take out some of the Mandalorians before, but we've also seen the Mandalorians being able to stand up against the Jedi.
Right. Because
right.
That, if you look, the ancient Jedi verse was against Mandalore. But my point is that
it would make sense that they would develop armor to get rid of.
Oh yeah.
And I guess I didn't put 2 and 2 together because I watched the Clone Wars, and so I guess I just didn't put 2 and 2 together to realize that Beskar. Because when Ahsoka Tano was fighting the God, why did I just
Morgan Elsbeth?
The magistrate.
Yes, the magistrate.
Morgan Elsbeth.
And so the magistrate, he was fighting the magistrate, and
lovely lady.
Yes, who is also a
this man's or man
apprentice.
Yes, Thrawn, which was one of the big things that came out of that, was that Thrawn is still around. So my question then is, at the end of Rebels, Ahsoka goes off with the Mandalorian that was with the Rebels to go find Ezra Bridger. Mm-hmm. So is this before that or after?
I think it's after. At least something.
Okay, so she hasn't found him yet?
Yeah. I looked it up.
So then where is the Mandalorian that was with her? because she left with both. She left with her.
I feel like it's something we'll find out because this is after Return of the Jedi, and that was Clone Wars. So
right, but Rebels
I'm
would
assuming
took place.
there's just something that happened.
Yeah, but
that
Rebels
time
at the
period.
end of Rebels is after Return of the Jedi. So the last episode or the last 5 minutes of Rebels is after Return of the Jedi because Ahsoka comes around, grabs the person that Ezra was liking on, and she was liking on Ezra to go find Ezra in the No Man's Land with Thrawn. So we'll see what happens with that. So Thrawn, I'm thinking, will take Moff Gideon's place in season 3. I'm hoping he is. I'm glad he's getting an even bigger role. And again, this is all David Filoni doing all this. This is all a bigger arc that he has created from both the animated show and then this live streaming show. He has just built up the Star Wars universe even more so than, the movies have. They're filling in a lot of back stuff. But go ahead.
Are you thinking that Thrawn? I mean, Thrawn's going to come in, but are you thinking he's just going to take over for Moff Gideon?
I think Moff Gideon's going to end up getting killed or something, or he's, Mando's finally going to get his revenge on him because remember he destroyed the Djarin's original homeworld before it became a Mandalorian, and I think he's going to end up getting his revenge. But I still think the baby's going to get captured, and Thrawn's going to use him for his end. And I think Thrawn is going to eventually lead to the First Order. And there's rumors that Michael Fassbender might be playing Thrawn, which will be, if they get Magneto as Thrawn, I'm done. I'm so there.
I really think that Thrawn is going to end up being like a higher up because if she's his apprentice and she's been like helping out with like the Imperial fleet, like that's huge. Like that's huge. So
and he is the only alien
higher up than Moff Gideon. Yeah, exactly. He's like one of the very few aliens that
the only alien
has ever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Grand Admiral Thrawn is higher than Moff Gideon, I agree with you, but my thing.
So if anything, he's the one giving Moff Gideon the worst.
And that's what I was saying. I don't think that Moff Gideon's going to get replaced. He might get killed off. I give you that. But I think Thrawn is the one giving these marching orders to do what he does. And I think you're right. Thrawn is going to be the bridge to the First Order.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's going to be the bridge to the First Order.
100%.
Now, I don't know if either one of you, because Big Nate, I don't know if you recall, and Christina, you have not watched all of the Clone Wars episodes with Ahsoka yet, and some of the Rebels, but there was a callback to a certain owl, which has followed Ahsoka most of her Jedi life, which has been, let me see, Moriah, which is this little thing. Now, the reason she's important is she represents the light side of the Force. And she was the avatar for the ancients, which were basically 3 folks that the Force came from. There was the brother or the son, which was the dark side, the daughter, which was the light side, and then the father, who was just all encompassing. So it's kind of like a holy trinity. In the Clone Wars, there's an episode where Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka are supposed to replace those 3. And then Anakin makes a decision, and this goes back to what Big Nate was saying, where he ignores, he can't let go of Padme. So he was supposed to take the brother's place and be the balance for the dark side, and then Ahsoka was supposed to be the light side, and Obi-Wan was going to be, the bridge for both. And instead, all 3 of the ancients end up getting killed and dying. And because the brother attacks and the sister and the father gets killed. No, the sister gets killed because she's trying to defend the father. And then the father ends up, I think, killing him, or I can't remember what happens. But no, I think Anakin ends up killing the son. And then the father just lets himself go. He just destroys his homeworld. And it ended up causing imbalance in the Force. And it ended up leading again to the Empire and the rise of Palpatine. So again, you got Anakin and the Skywalkers
Being selfish.
yes, being the catalyst for all the problems in the universe, which is, to me, is getting to be a tired trope. I wish they'd move on from the Skywalkers, because there are as we can see, there's a whole lot more Force users that can do a lot more stuff than just the bloody Skywalkers and the Palpatines. But there's that. So that was Morai. And now the other thing I wanted to bring up was an actor that I thought it was him when I first saw it, which was Michael Biehn. He played what was his name? I think it was Lank or Lance or something like that. And he was the mercenary. Yeah, Lank. He was the mercenary for the magistrate. And so this is how he looks now. And I didn't realize Michael Biehn is now 64 years old. So the years have not, he's aged gracefully. But this is how I remember him. And this is not how I remember him. So, and even Big Nate didn't realize that was him. I was like, that was Michael Biehn. And he was like, who? I was like, Johnny Ringo or Kyle Reese from Terminator.
Right.
When he was like, no, that's not him. I'm like, yes, it was. or he was Hicks from Aliens.
No,
but yeah,
you said Kyle Reese from Terminator. I said, shut up. That was not Kyle Reese from Terminator.
Yes. So and it took me a minute because I had to keep watching and then I had to actually go look it up, and then I saw and I was like, oh my God, that was him. That's crazy. That's insane. But in the end, she does give him another.
I had a thing I wanted to bring up.
Yes.
So first of all, Ahsoka and her dual wielding, beautiful, fantastic, loved every second of it.
And Anakin had something to do with that.
Come back and be like, hi, beautiful.
But Anakin actually had something to do with that because she used to hold her sabers in reverse. So she would hold her sabers like backhands, like this.
Oh yeah.
Instead of facing forward. So her sabers would be behind her, and she would attack. And she was even more vicious then. But then he kind of said, that's not the way we do it, and all this other stuff. And he got her away from doing that. She's still a bad butt.
This is not the way.
But go ahead with your thought.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So her sabers are like white or like very, very light blue. So that makes me think that we were correct in the fact that her and Moff Gideon are going to go at it because classic white versus dark. She has a dark saber. Classic juxtaposition there. I like that. That makes me. It literally like sinks in the fact that the battle is going to be between them at some point this season because it's literally white versus dark.
Right.
Which I think is dope.
That's how she ends up getting, sent back to the Force, and how Moff Gideon maybe at the last minute he's defeated her, but then he ends up dying to either Bo or to Djarin, Mando.
Yeah.
Well, there's so much that that's the good thing about how this is going is that they're really setting up a story to go multiple ways. Like perfect example.
For sure.
I was like, okay, in my mind, before I watched the episode, I'm like, okay, so she's not going to train him. So she's got to figure out some way. And I didn't think about this quest and all this other stuff, but I thought, well, she's got to find some way to send him off. And then they developed that. And it was very nicely done. Because again, I'm not writing it, but I was like, she's not going to train him. So how are we going to do this? And we have to make Mando vulnerable to lose the baby so that she can come up and help him reclaim the child. So they've got to set all this up. But but to send him on this next quest, there's so many different avenues they could open up. Like one, Luke has, think about it. Ben, if this is 5 years after Return of the Jedi, Ben is not old enough to be, being trained. No. So
if he's even born yet.
Because this could be a way to bring in, again, I know you're tired of the Skywalkers, but this
But the way
could
to bring in
be
Luke, yeah,
or Leia, or
Ah,
Leia.
ah, 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 ah.
or Leia.
Y'all are forgetting one important Jedi that has been with Thrawn this
What,
whole
Windu?
time. No, not
Oh.
Windu. Ezra Bridgers. He is still a Jedi. And he has been learning with the space whales that help get rid of Thrawn. So he could have a whole total different view because he wasn't raised in a temple. Just like Luke wasn't. He could also be her trainer. And that would be a bridge to Rebels as well. You know, Ahsoka and I think Yoda and Ben Kenobi and Ahsoka are starting to see that maybe the old ways were not really the best ways, but they're stuck in them. They're stuck. And the only way to get out of it was for Luke to go do what he did. But there's also Ezra. I mean, Ezra shouldn't have been trained. Kanan found him when he was what, 15, 14? And he started training him. And again, this is another case of a Padawan ending up with a Jedi that's not ready to be, you know, a Jedi Knight or a master.
Definitely was not ready.
No. But Ezra could end up teaching the child. We're going to see who ends up talking to the child. Maybe it'll be Yoda. We don't know. Maybe Yoda will come out and go, here's another destination for you to go to. We don't know. We don't know where they're going to end up. Here's another place for you to go because we're not through with your quest line yet. Roll a die 20 and see what you get. Hopefully you get someplace good.
Roll a d20 and see where they're going to go.
See what number you get.
But here's the thing. One of the things that I was thinking about was, you know, I know that we were fleshing out Ahsoka Tano, but remember the beacon's still on the Razor Crest. And he was helping.
So if anything, they're going to meet them at that mountaintop.
Yes.
And so I'm thinking the mountaintop could be the valley, and it could be the mountaintop.
Big battle.
Right. This could be the setup for the takeaway. This could be set up for like you said, they could be said, like they said, we'll be ready. Maybe they beat them at the mountaintop. Let him do what he's going to do so they're weak and attack. You know, there's just so many things. And I think that's the setup for the next episode.
But I thought the beacon was just there to track him. It's not telling them where he's going. Because if it's a traditional tracer, it's only going to tell him where he's at right now. It's not going to tell him where he's going.
But the point I'm saying is that if they're following him, since he's gonna have to spend some time, let the boy make his choice, etc., that could give them an opportunity to catch up with him. And that's what I'm saying. That could be the setup. And I was thinking that. I was like, we only got 8 episodes a season, and we
only got 3 left. We only got 3 left.
And that's what I was thinking. I said,
and that'll be the perfect time for them to attack because right now, his connection, he doesn't like using his powers. Obviously, he only uses it when Mando's in trouble or to steal cookies or to steal a ball off a damn ship.
He'll use them to get them Girl Scout cookies for real.
But the other thing is, you know, perhaps when he goes and makes his choice, his powers, he releases, you know, his powers and it becomes more focused. So with that point, his connection to the Force becomes even stronger and more reason for Moff Gideon to then wait and say, okay, now snatch him. Because right now he's powerful, but he's not that powerful. I mean, yes, he stopped, he rotated an animal and stuff.
They also brought that up when it was the mind reading. That's what I was going to say. Is she talked about how he's afraid to use it. And I'm wondering if that's from when he was captured and like they punished him for using it.
Or whoever took him from the, you know, to protect him from Coruscant, from the Jedi Academy after the fall, they probably was like, you can't use your power. Don't use your power. Don't do that. Don't do anything. And we don't know what Jedi took him from there, or if it was Bail Organa, or if it was who got him out. Right. But he was obviously not one of the younglings where Anakin said, hey, let's have some fun with some younglings.
Right. But I mean, but I mean, but the thing is, somebody might have got on him, like you said. I don't think somebody was being ugly to him. They were saying, you can be captured if you use your power. Don't. And so he's got fear about you, and he's, like you said, felt lost, felt alone. We don't know if that person took care of him. We don't know if that person lost him. We don't know if he was literally.
Obviously, they lost him because he was captured by mercenaries.
I mean,
right?
But think about it. I mean, but look at it. You know, maybe he literally was that kid on the corner, you know, talking about, hey, baby, what you doing on the corner, baby? Selling weed. I mean, the point is we don't know what happened to him. We don't know, and and he had a very terrible moment. I mean, I felt bad for him. A baby literally out there alone and lost, and no one to care for him. And I mean, I think that's why he linked so tough to Mando. You know,
and also why he just try to commit genocide. Yes, you're right. Eating eggs.
I mean, I also think that's gonna be something that happens wherever the big battle is like while he's making that choice, like Mando's gonna be in trouble. And that's what's gonna make his choice for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
that's
just because he makes that choice, does that mean he has to walk away from the Force, or does that mean he has to go save Mando? Or it's kind of like the same catch-22 that Rey had, and the same thing that Luke had in the last three, in the original trilogy and in the last trilogy, where it was like, what am I going to do? My friends are in trouble, or my family's in trouble.
Yeah.
Do I walk away from my training, or what do I do?
Attachment. No attachments.
Worked for Rey, worked for Luke. Well, other than Rey didn't lose anything. Luke lost an arm.
Besides Ben.
But Rey didn't lose anything. In fact, she is probably the only Jedi.
Ben.
Huh? That relationship was bull. How was that? And we're going to go on that on another thing. How was that even going to work? Oh, I love you, Ben. Let's go off together. Who is going to accept Kylo Ren at the next dinner? Are you going to invite him, Big Nate, to Thanksgiving?
Who goes down? Go tripping.
So is there anything else y'all wanted to circle back about?
I'm trying to get somebody to come over here.
What? Oh, you trying to get Nick on the screen?
Well, Nick walked away, so that's all right. He don't love me.
So, any closing things? Why has he got a mask on and we on video?
Because
the boy don't make no sense.
No, that's his rules. He be out there talking to folk. I said, you gotta keep a mask on now.
Oh my God! Oh Jesus! He's in the house with
quarantine. He over there. He won't shake his ass.
Gamer chair.
Yes, it's a gamer chair.
Yeah, he's not. We're streaming live over the World Wide Web. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. So, Big Nate, any closing ideas? Any closing ideas about this episode and where this leads us?
All right. First off, I think that you're right. Now that I really flesh it out in my head, this is a way to bring Ezra back and bring Thrawn back. So I think that this is going to be the epic showdown at the end of these 8 episodes, and we're going to build up to the negative. I think that it's going to be Moff Gideon. He may or may not survive. I'm hoping Ahsoka Tano survives, but this is coming to you know what I really liked in this particular episode?
What's that?
There were 2 like really strong themes. The Western was such a strong theme,
and once again, Johnny Ringo did not come out on the good side of the Western.
Oh no, he came out real bad for the second time.
Yes.
And so my thing is, but that was the first thing, this Western stare down between and what was his name in this episode?
I think it was Lang or something like that. Yeah.
Well, Lang versus Mando with the stare down. And the second thing was cinematography. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When it was beautiful, when Mando was faded out just a smidge and Ahsoka Tano was over his shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
And the shot of both of them, I was like, damn, that was good. I was like, that
I
was
love my industry.
yeah, that cinematography was beautiful at that moment. So much symbolism of them working together as a unit. He's in the forefront. She's about to go take care of the other bad person. It was so symbolic. It was so good. It was well shot. And then the reference to, you know,
Yay, ceiling.
then the second thing I was talking
My
about,
phone's
good job.
dying.
Yeah, plug it up. The second thing I was talking about was when we were dealing with, you know, the stare down
Mm-hmm.
in the Japanese anime between the bad person and the good person when Ahsoka Tano was taking on, you know, the magistrate. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, that symbol. Good job, baby girl. It was that second symbolism going back to the samurai, and then that's been used through Japanese anime
Well, it's
when.
been used throughout most of the Star Wars. I mean, it's always been kind of like the sword fighter, you know.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the first when they went to it, Mando was the classic Western stare down.
Mm-hmm.
Then they went to the samurai with dealing with Ahsoka Tano versus the magistrate, and that both of that symbolism was so potent, and that's why that shot of her afar and him close brought those two worlds together. I was like, that's cinematic genius. And I had to stop and rewind it. And I said, the samurai and the gunslinger, two worlds, one shot.
Mm-hmm.
Ding! I almost ran around the house. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Christina, closing thoughts on this episode and where this might lead us.
Um, so the more I'm watching it, I feel, especially because she went after the magistrate specifically for Thrawn, it's making me think that she's going to survive to have that battle with Thrawn. But it also depends on who comes to that battle based on the child like reaching out with the Force.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hinting me towards her surviving whatever battle they're gonna have, so that she can have that standoff with Ron, because then it throws back to Rebels and everything. I don't know about Gideon surviving. I feel like it makes sense for him to die to make way for like a bigger big bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if we have Thrawn, like Gideon's gonna see who's gonna be
And
like
he's
this
not in that many
super
episodes. It's not like he's just in the
powerful, like,
background.
yeah, like he's not in that much. He's like doing orders, but he's taking orders from someone who I'm assuming is gonna be Thrawn. It's like he's just kind of like he's like a minor bad guy, and Thrawn
Mm-hmm.
is gonna be like the major bad guy. And just like how there
He's
was Vader, and then there was Palpatine, who was actually the one controlling everything.
Mm-hmm. Right, and we never saw the Emperor until just a glance until episode 5, and then we fully saw him in episode 6. He had a bigger part in the first 3. Well, not the first 3, but the prequel trilogy. He had a bigger part.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think Thrawn is going to be a big part of season 3. I think Moth is going to not survive this season. I'm hoping Ahsoka survives. I still am trying to figure out because we don't have the Mandalorian that was with. Hold on, let me get her name. Why can I not find her name? So, we still don't have. I don't think that she's gone off to find Ezra yet. And if she has, she got lost and hasn't found him. But my thing is, they don't have, the Mandalorian from Star Wars Rebels with her, which I would imagine they would be traveling together if she's looking for Thrawn, because Thrawn has Ezra. or Ezra's with Thrawn. So why would they not be together? Especially if at the end of Rebels, the last scene you see is Ahsoka coming to get her, and they're leaving to go get Ezra. So I'm trying to figure out if the last 10 minutes of Rebels happens after this or before this. So there's that. So maybe she will live. Depends on where in the timeline we are. We do know that by Rise of the Skywalker, she's no longer with us. She's a part of the Force, or she was just telecommunicating through the Force. I don't know. I mean, Luke did it, so maybe she did it that way, trying to raise her up. But by that time, I don't know. And it's also pretty evident that the new Jedi Academy has not been opened by Luke yet, because they would have said, just send him to the new Jedi Academy. Just take him over there and have him talk to Luke. So the new Jedi Academy, and maybe that's what also leads to the new Jedi Academy forming, is that Grogu goes up there and makes his decision, or is trying to make a decision, and it reaches out to Luke, and Luke goes, "Oh, there are other Force sensitives out there," which to me, Luke should have figured that out by now.
Look, these Skywalkers they're not the brightest, okay?
You think?
They're not the brightest.
Oh, I'm having a couple horrible dreams about my wife. Let me create genocide and kill everybody that I've known for the last 30 years.
And then choke her out and inadvertently lead to her death. Oh.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
So,
Brilliant.
So we're on our way. We'll see what the next episode is. I haven't seen what the title for the next one is. I was a little taken aback that Ahsoka's not. I thought for sure she was going to be in the next 3 episodes, but obviously she's either going to show up in the last 2, or at least the last one she'll show up, hopefully. But I was expecting a little bit more from her, and maybe that's why I was let down, and maybe that's because I've watched Clone Wars. I've watched Rebels, and she had such a big part of all that I was a little let down that, yes, she had this big part in this episode, but then she sent him off on another mission and didn't become a part of the party. Yeah. So it's like, I'm back on a solo mission with this kid, which I have no idea how to control his powers, how to make him stop what he's doing other than saying stop, which doesn't work when he's eating freaking eggs. But other than that, I don't know.
So stuck on these.
He is a genocidal little bum.
No, he is not. But hold
yes,
on,
he is.
Wait. Hold on 1 second. Grogu. Huh? Grogu. Huh?
Exactly. It's kind of like you
maybe
talking to Jackson.
Know his name.
Right.
Maybe because he didn't know his name then. Maybe because he paid a lot more attention when he said his name.
Let me ask you a question, Banks. If you put something in front of your dog Jackson,
who just walked out, by the way,
if you walk away from that dog, do you expect your food to be there when you get back?
Heck no.
Exactly.
What's up?
And
Jackson?
that's how Grogu is right now.
Yes. No. If you train a dog properly,
hey, Jackson,
you better be there.
You see that, Jackson?
Jackson, you're just as bad as Grogu. You just as bad as Grogu.
No.
Now, Grogu, when he gets older, he won't be
my
that
dogs
way.
Before.
Mm-hmm.
No. I've left food around my dogs before and they haven't ate it.
Mm-hmm.
They know that.
But you also left food around your dog and he ate your whole thigh. Your chicken. Remember that? When I came to help you move, he ate your food.
Yeah, because he's like 1. And he doesn't know better. Chief knew better. She didn't do that.
But I digress. So I want to thank everybody for joining us for this second session. We will try to keep these at a semi-on schedule time. I don't know with Christina's work schedule how that's going to be. So we might be back next week at 9 p.m. Eastern on Friday, or we might be back at 1 p.m., which is what we did on Saturday last week. Well, thank you all for joining. Big Nate, any words before we head out?
Listen, I'm just excited. I was so happy when I saw Ahsoka Tano. I had to stop it and do and then go back to what I was doing, watch this episode. So I had a good time. I didn't like the ending. I agree. He shouldn't have been sent on another quest. He should have went with her. if the Empire's chasing him, she needs to make sure he doesn't get in the hands of the Empire again. So I think she passed the buck a little too much, but I think that just sets her up to come in swinging like she did to try to help save him or whatever. So either way, I'm excited. My man Filoni, again, a master. He did his job. He did an excellent job with the whole series, and he did an excellent job with this episode again. So I'm can't wait for the next episode.
Christina, any bye-byes or any shout-outs you want to do before we head out?
The next episode is going to be... I have no shout-outs.
I think it's going to be a filler.
It's going to be... Oh, I was thinking it was going to be more action-packed. But it makes sense that it will be a filler to lead up to the final two.
The final two, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember with the first season if they had a filler between 7 and 8 or not. Yeah. I'm trying to remember if they did. If 6
if anything,
was a filler.
It's just going to be him getting to the mountain or something like that.
And then him standing there going doing all this.
And, yeah. It'll be like one of those freaking Dragon Ball Z episodes. Just doing a spirit bomb for 5 years.
Next time on Mandalorian. And I didn't even really go into that, how his name is similar to Goku, which was the protagonist of the Dragon Ball things, and just how oblivious Goku was to the rest of the world. And the baby is a little bit oblivious too. Not only his powers, but the rest of the world.
With the baby like reaching out with the Force, I'm gonna laugh. Because it's literally just going to be like Spirit Bomb for 5 episodes.
All right. Well, this is Cliff signing off. This is Christina. She's heading out. Big Nate's heading out. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you next time.
Peace.
See you for more nerd times.